Hello, my name is Rick Morris. We're working on recovery videos, and I want to reiterate a little bit about where I've come from and how we got to this point, and talk a little bit about how we're moving forward. When I got sober, I had no one to tell me how to go to the next place in my life. I knew I didn't want to ever have another drink. I knew it was a problem for me. And all I knew to do was to work hard, um, raise my family, pay my bills, and be thankful to God for what I had and where I was. I'm kind of an impatient person. I wanted to get on with it. Um, when I began to see areas in my life that were character defects, I felt like I always got clean and through with it before God, before God saw fit to go on to the next thing. I'm just an impatient type person, and I didn't really have anybody that was holding my hand and walking me through it. Like I hope these videos are helping you move much faster and better than I ever did. But my point is, if you'll hang with me and we'll go through these spiritual concepts, you're going to find that you can reach your purpose and destiny in life much quicker than I did. We're on step 15. This is episode 1. Uh, the title is Giants. And the step states, we see there is more to life, or there is more to live for than what we thought possible. The scripture I've selected is, see, the Lord your God has set the land before you. Go up, take possession, as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has told you. Do not fear or be dismayed. That's Deuteronomy 1, verse 21. You know, there's a lot more to life than just being clean and sober. That's just the beginning. That's why many people get clean and sober, and then after a while, they don't move on with their life, and they relapse. But each one of us has a purpose and a destiny, and that is where we're headed. That is um, bedrock principles. When you get your purpose and your destiny in sight, and you're on the right path, um, being clean and sober becomes easier. Now, we see from the Bible that recovery from slavery is described in Exodus, but that's just the beginning of new life. God's pattern is to take us out of slavery and into a promised land of milk and honey. When Moses took the children of God up to the edge of the promised land, he sent 12 spies in to check out the land. They came back with samples of abundant fruit and stories of how beautiful the land was. However, 10 of the 12 were afraid of the giants in the land. They actually said, we feel like grasshoppers in front of these giants. Only 2 of the spies, Joshua and Caleb, were ready to go in and take the land. So the Israelites did not go in because of fear of the giants in the land. God was frustrated because he had just shown them how he would deliver them from slavery in Egypt. And so they had to go back into the wilderness for 40 years before he would commission Joshua to take them into the promised land. Now, I'm going to talk to you through these next few episodes to cut out some of your time in the wilderness working on character issues so that you can go on into your promised land. But this is a great story. How does it relate to us in recovery? I'll pause so you can think about it and discuss it, and I'll give you my answer. Remember, this account is a physical picture of our spiritual life in recovery. God has led us out of slavery, of addiction, and led us into freedom. He uses the wilderness to show us our character, and his goal for us is to go in and possess the promised land of milk and honey. The only problem is we're told that there are giants in the promised land. We have not seen the giants, so we have a decision to make. Do we believe God, or do we settle to live out in the wilderness? One more thing to know. God says he will send in hornets ahead of us. What does that mean? What does that mean? He's going to send in hornets ahead of us? Well, I would ask you to read Exodus 23, 27 through 30. But I'm going to quote it right here so you can understand the context of what I'm talking about. He says, I will send in my terror before you, and I will throw into confusion against all the people you shall come, and will make your enemies turn their back to you. And I will send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivites, Canaanites, and Hittites before you. I will not drive them out before you in a single year, lest the land will become desolate and the wild beast multiply before you. Little by little I will drive them out before you until you have increased and possessed the land. Man, there's a lot in there. It's a spiritual word to us about where we're headed. And so I want to talk to you, or I'm going to recap what this means to someone in recovery. I didn't have the benefit of having somebody recap this for my recovery, but you do. We are clean and sober after deliverance from Satan's addiction. We find ourselves in the wilderness, hearing about going into a promised land to find our purpose and destiny. But we're told that there are giants in the land. Furthermore, God said he will send hornets in ahead of us to strike terror into the giants. He then says he will drive them out little by little so that the beast in the land don't multiply against us. Now, I know this is a lot to take in, and so I want you, Rick, to tell me more about these hornets. What is all that about? Well, remember, this is spiritual. The hornets are supernatural ways God goes before us to clear the path. When the evil one realizes God is with us, his minions are terrified. Okay, I understand that. Now, who are the giants in my promised land, and what do I do to go into the promised land? Well, in future videos, we'll help you identify who the giants are in your land. Everyone is different. Everybody has different giants. I mean, some people have the same ones, but your assignment is to pray and ponder what my destiny and promised land looks like. I want a good life and a productive life. I want to love people around me, and I want to be loved by them. Remember, the destiny and promised land doesn't fall in your lap just because you became clean and sober. We have to work for it and build it. It comes little by little. Everyone has a different path, and we are looking ahead. We're not looking behind. We have hope. So, spend some time in prayer. Make sure you've read Exodus and Deuteronomy. They are a picture of your taking the land of milk and honey. And we're going to go on to the next episode.